Let us discuss on web technologies. Today I will be giving the overview of and introduction of web technology. We will be discussing on the communication on the web server technologies and web designing part. So we rely on different websites for various purposes like submitting online applications, viewing web contents, watching movies, banking transactions, purchase of goods through online transaction and so on. So these are the various websites that are available and the technologies used in order to access the websites. So before we discuss on the major concepts of website, let us discuss the key points that are available and required for understanding the web technology. Those are website, web page and web service. Okay. Website is a collection of web pages, and web pages may contain text, graphics, sound, animations and movies. So web pages are developed with the help of language called HTML, that is Hypertext Markup Language. It is also known as language of internet. So how is this website made available on the internet? These web pages are to be stored in the web servers that are connected to the internet so that others may access it. It is publicly available for others and everyone can access it. So this is how the communication takes place via routers between various websites. So the communication on the web can be illustrated as, in order to communicate on the web, the computer or the device needs to understand each other. So this is made possible by making all devices follow the same protocol. Let us see, it is TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So a client simply requests to the server, and by understanding the client's request, the server will reply to it. So this is the client or the browser through which the client generates his request, and server, after decoding that, understands and do marshalling and return it to the client. This is the overview of a web technology. So the essentials for communication over internet is two things. One is authentication and other one is security. So authentication is the process of determining whether a computer or a server is the computer communication that it claims to be. Okay, so you are identifying whether it is the specific system which you are in search of. That is authentication. Whereas security, it should be provided to communication over internet so that the message are not intercepted or modified by hackers. So these are the two major principles for effective communication over the internet. So here the client request to the server by connecting to the server. So the server sends back the requested page. So you will be having a centralized server software available at the server side, and this is accessible by multiple clients. The single server machine is accessed by multiple clients. For example, Google is a server, Yahoo is another server, etc. So communication on the web will be like an URL will be sent to the DNS, domain name system server, to obtain its IP address. And then browser connects to this server using this IP address. After that process, this requests the web page to be displayed to the client. So on the communication on the web will be like, it does not usually require both authentication and security, but in a case of web-based banking application or email services, usernames and password are required to be sent to the server. So it depends upon the type of application. This information cannot be sent to the server in the plain text due to security reasons. So the hackers may steal usernames and password if it is communication and shared as plain text. So the routing of a data packet from sender to a recipient will be like this. The packet travels from router to router over the internet according to the IP address. So TCP breaks the data into packets from the client end, and in that router, using various algorithms like shortest path first, Dijkstra algorithm, etc. A fine path will be optimum solution will be given by the algorithm, and that path will be chosen for communicating to the server. So TCP reassembles the data packets back to the original form. So this is a snapshot of how the IP packets take different routes. In the internet, there are several types of communications. So websites are accessed using HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. An email communication happens using Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. An internet protocol provides the basics of communication over the internet. So the role of routers in the transporting data in the internet is because the routers needs to be programmed. It has to be separately handled for different types of data, and they do not need to know about the data they are transporting. It is only concerned about the address to which the packet is to be delivered. So it's only the overview work of router. So here, the openness of the data part of the packet gives the freedom to design new protocols for the internet. This openness and flexibility of TCP/IP that led to the development of protocols such as social media websites to handle messages, content websites to handle video and audio, banking websites to handle money transfer securely, so etc. So it is the deciding factor for the economic success of the internet. It's the communication on the web that can be categorized as client to server. So the client, we usually refer it as client or browser, and web server as server. So the communication can be of two types. One is client to web server, direct access, and the other one is, in some cases, not in all the cases, web server to web server communications may be required. Okay. So these are the two major categories of communication. In client to server, your browser connects to the server and requests for a page. The server sends back the requested page. The same process will be carried out between two different servers in the second case. So client to server. Let us see the overview of this. Here, it does not usually require authentication. Here, but in the case of this web-based banking applications or email services, username and password we have to transfer to the server. So this information cannot be sent to the server in plain text because of security reason. And the intruders may steal the credentials, login credentials, if it is communicated and shared as plain text. So for this reason, the next solution will be to use SSL, that is Secure Socket Layer. This is how a banking transaction would be. Here the user gives the credential. So if it goes as a plain text, it will be hacked by somebody. So to avoid that, it should be encrypted. And server uses this password to authenticate user's identity. Then server authorizes the access for authenticated identity. To avail this, we need to enforce SSL. So this SSL provides a standard security technology that is used for establishing an encrypted connection between the computer on the internet. So it provides security capabilities to HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This protocol not only ensures privacy but also ensures that no other website can be impersonated, that is a person trying to access the account in the name of other person, that is impersonation, using their user login account, and he may attempt to alter the information set. So to avoid that, data has to be encrypted. If you avail for SSL, it will be protected. Example, VeriSign Incorporation is a certification authority to provide authentication. So this is, if SSL is applied, the HTTP will be renamed as HTTPS, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure Technology, to encrypt the username and password, and then it will be sent to the server. So with the help of secure socket layers, this can be accomplished. So we saw that VeriSign incorporation is a certification authority, an example. So how does it work? Here the client server authentication process will be like the browser request to start the secure SSI session, that is secure socket identification session, and the server returns it with SSL certificate. So browser checks that certificate is valid and it is signed by someone which the user can trust. If valid, browser initiates an encrypted session. Server and browser then encrypts all the transmitted data in the same process. So they may communicate with each other. So this is how it requests the protected resource and present certificate. When it requests, after verifying the credentials, server will return the certification. Once the certification is provided, with the certification, it verifies with the server, that is the client verifies with the certification authority like VeriSign. And once it is valid on authenticated, it will again, with the certificate, it will again respond to the server. Once both are, so the CA plays the vital role here to both client and the server. As a third party, it provides authentication to both the ends. Here the mutual authentication, after this mutual authentication, actual transfer takes place. The other, as we discussed, two types of communication. The first one was client to server. The second one is web server to web server communication. So in this case, it may be required in certain web applications. This is not required in all the cases. And the web server of an online shopping website needs to send confidential information to the bank web server and vice versa. So if you are going for a purchase, the user placing an order, example Amazon. So when he places an order, the merchant web server, that is Amazon server, will respond for the requested page. Once everything is done by the client, that is the choosing of product or something is done, after that it proceeds to the payment process. For that it has to request to the payment gateway. With the payment gateway, the merchant's bank account should be already authorized by the bank web server. Once it is done, then the payment process can be done successfully. Once payment is completed, this shopping purchase of the item can be completed successfully. It's coming to web server technologies. So in order to use this, web servers of the merchants of the bank are to be authenticated like digital signature, payment gateway, that access bridge, etc. So all these are made possible through web server technologies. For example, this is a domain www.stbteshyd.com, and all this will be maintained by a web server. If the data is too large or huge in amount, then we may go for a data center. So this is the server house where all the data are dumped. Facebook and Google are all using these data centers to dump our data. So it is a dedicated physical location where organization house their servers and networking system. It is used for storing, processing and serving large amounts of mission critical data to their clients. So it requires extensive backup power supply system and cooling system and high speed networking connections and security systems in order to successfully manage this data centers. So few popular things are Linux distributions, Microsoft Windows Server, FreeBSD, Oracle Solaris, etc. Next, coming to web server software. So web server software is, after setting up a server, a web server software has to be installed in it and configured according to our given OS operating system. So the web server software is a program that uses the client server model and the HTTP to ensure timely distribution of files that are stored in it, and that are stored in the server, and it has to be given to the users. Coming to hardware ports, so this is how it looks like. various pins are there. It is used to connect external devices to the computer, and these devices communicate with the computer using these ports. Next is software port. It is used to connect a client computer to a server to access its services like HTTP, FTP. FTP is file transfer protocol, and SMTP, etc. So to distinguish the ports, the software ports are given unique number. The purpose of software port is to identify different services like email, file transfer, etc. running on a single server computer. So the port number will be of 16-bit, and when it is added to a computer's IP address, or we can refer it as URL, Uniform Resource Locator, it can be used for communicating with a particular service that is available on a server. For example, google.com is a web, unique identifier, that is a URL, and the port number is usually 80. So the domain name is co.in and protocol is HTTP. So there are unique port numbers that are reserved for a certain purpose. For all FTPs, it is 20 and 21. For SSH, it is 22. SMTP is 25. DNS is 53. HTTP is 80. So we have discussed all this. Coming to POP3, HTTPS is for secure purpose. POP3 is for email application. That is used here for email applications. Coming to DNS servers, so this runs as a special purpose network software, and that contains a database of domain names and IP address. So DNS servers are arranged in a hierarchy. At the top level, there are 13 root servers that contains the name server information that are all generic to the top level domains. So .org is for any organization, .edu is for educational institutions, .com is for commercial purpose. So likewise, it is already categorized, which we call it as a hierarchy. And .in is for Indian servers. So let us consider a scenario where St. Peter's Engineering College has about 1,000 computers connected to the internet in its campus. Now what is the advantage of having a local DNS server in the college intranet? So this local DNS server contains a list of domain names and their IP address which the users in the organization regularly access. So this list can be updated periodically to include new domain names whenever a computer in the intranet tries to access a website in the internet. It first searches for the domain name in the local DNS server and finds the IP address. So this speeds up the internet access in the organization. So that is the advantage. Only if the domain name is not found in the local DNS server, it searches the DNS of the ISP, that is Internet Service Provider. Coming to web designing, the first step is to set up a website, is to plan the web pages for the website. So these are some popularly used web designing softwares: Bluefish, Bootstrap, Dreamweaver, and Microsoft Expression Web.